Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Happy Thursday to you. And today I'm going to be talking to you about job hopping, career gaps, and job hopping. And if these are still red flags in 2025, I'll also be sharing the current state of the job market and really helping you understand, okay, should I be looking for a job right now, and why that is a yes or a no. I would like to know where you're joining me from today. So please specify in the comment section where you are joining me from today. I'd like to give you a shout out and acknowledge you as someone who has been supporting me. So please feel free to let me know in the comment section where you're joining us from today. Okay. As you know, there has been a whole lot of speculation, or if you don't know, about job hopping. And I'm going to use my life as an example of a job hopper when I was in corporate. Right. So when I started my career right after my PhD, I got a job in Canada, and I did this job for 2 years. And then I got a job in the US and made my way here. Now, transferring from Canada to the US in the same industry earned me a salary that is times three of what I was making in Canada. I worked in this new job for another 2 years, and then I job hopped to another company in that same industry and got another 75% increase in salary. Now, you may wonder, wow, not only had every step of the way, I have had this wonderful, I would say, boom in income. I've also, at that point, realized that I was going up the ladder. I started my career as a lead material scientist. And when I moved to the US, I became a senior engineer. And by the time I went to that third job, I became a director. And now, based on that analogy, if that was you, who have invested time in gathering knowledge, who has invested efforts in developing different skill sets, would you say that it was okay for me to move and job hop? I think I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section to see, what you think, right? Just looking at my trajectory that over a period of 5 years, my salary went up to almost times five. And over a period of 5 years, I went from being a lead engineer to a director. I didn't even switch industry. I just switched roles. Would you say that was a smart move? I think, to the best of my knowledge, that was a smart move. And now let's now discuss in details why it is important for you to consider job hopping if this is not something that you have been considering. First of all, growing up, I noticed that one of the things that was very crucial for baby boomers was staying on the same job for so long. I remembered some of my uncles, they worked with the government for 30 years, and then they would have this big retirement party when they are retiring. In fact, one of my very precious uncles still did a retirement party this last weekend. He had spent 37 years with the same company. This last weekend, this last Saturday, he had spent 37 years with the same company, and then he was retiring. He clocked 60. So they had a retirement party for him last weekend. And then I started thinking, we were really happy for him that he's finally retiring. But I started thinking as a career coach that somebody stayed with the same company for 37 years. If they had job hopped around, how much more money would they have made? Could they have also increased when it comes to really fast track their career? I think the answer is yes. Now, let's talk about a few things, right, that I want you to think about. In today's market, I believe that not only should you job hop, that you should actually think about career transitioning opportunities. In 2025, there are certain industries that have high growth and high potential, like green energy. Today, with a global push for sustainability, transitioning over from petroleum engineering to renewable energies such as solar, wind, electric vehicles, infrastructure is a great choice. Just don't sit down there and say, I studied petroleum engineering and then I have to work for this oil and gas company all my life. We are seeing even a UK 2025 Green Job Report highlights 20% increase in jobs in green energy by 2030. What does that mean? There is potential for growth. There is opportunity for you to earn more. There is opportunity for you to do better in that particular industry. So I'm not only advocating that you stay within a particular career. I would like you, if you have a job today, I would like you to take a step back and think through and start to wonder, okay, with what I do today, is there like an adjacent industry that is doing better? Or is there an adjacent industry that I can move to where I can really maximize my potential? Look at today, healthcare and biotechnology. We have seen that telemedicine related roles, biotech roles, are really needing things like data analysis, genetic engineering. And we have seen this boom, especially because there is this aging global population. And there has been very good medical advancements. So, you, as somebody who had studied biomedical science, biomedical engineering, biology, someone in that space, you should be thinking, what do I add to my career? What do I add to my knowledge for me to be able to do something in that regard? Maybe bioinformatics, maybe health informatics, something that drastically can increase my bracket when it comes to how much I can make. And because the world we live in right now, we can see the evidence of inflation all over everything. If you look at the price of eggs this time last year and the price of eggs today, clearly me and you can see that everything is more expensive than they were before. What does that tell us? We need to make more money. And then we need to look for opportunities to do that. Whether I want to job hop, I want to look for a job in another industry, or I actually want to look for another company to hire me so that I have a growth potential. There are so many data out there that supports you migrating to other careers. In the digital transformation world that we live today, tech, AI, machine learning, data science, automation, cybersecurity, they are seeing strong growth. Strong growth. What's your background? Your background is mathematics. Your background is physics. Your background is engineering. Your background is finance. These are likely backgrounds that can transition over to that industry easily. Let me share a testimony with you. We're going to actually post this testimonial. One of our clients, last year, she was pregnant, and once she was going on that maternity leave, she had joined our CAP program. And during our maternity leave, we had one goal that by the time she was coming out of maternity leave, she will have gotten another job. Now, I would tell you, she just got out of maternity leave a month ago and got to start a new role immediately. The new role that she started is in another industry, not the industry she was before. Now, this is the good part. She doubled her salary. She doubled her salary. We're going to post that video maybe today or tomorrow or next tomorrow. Over this weekend, my team is going to post a testimony that she wrote herself. She doubled her salary. The only way this was possible was because she decided that it was time to job hop. She decided that she wanted to go into a high value industry that can pay her more than her own industry. She decided that. This person works and went from doing things in the medical biotech space. She was working for a pharma company, a pharma company. She went from working in a pharma company to going to a tech company. And the salary did what? It blew up. It doubled. She didn't even change her role. All she did was change industry. What am I driving at today? That let's look at the current economic climate that we are living in today. Let's also look at industries with high growth opportunities. So it is very important that you assess your skills, that you assess your transferable skills, that we look at what industry can you cross to, that you can do this same job there that can pay you more. Secondly, what type of career can you transition to that can pay you more money? Inflation is not smiling with anybody. The economy is absolutely just not favorable anywhere in the world. There's no place today where you can tell me in the last 1 year we haven't seen a shift in the price of eggs. Let me tell you, my husband and I, we do real estate. We were going to buy some HVAC. During this last week, Easter, this HVAC was 3,002 or something. We were looking at it. And then because Easter was ongoing, we said we will buy it after Easter. Yesterday, we looked at it. Because of tariffs, they are now asking us for $5,000, almost times two. We are living in an unprecedented time. This is not a time where you sit down and say, I have a job, I thank God. First of all, everything is becoming expensive. You are needing more money than you needed yesterday. Secondly, there is no stability for anybody. Just a few days ago, Intel is one of those companies that does semiconductors, which is a very important component for AI. Intel announced that they're firing 20% of their workforce. 20%. Yesterday night, I was reading about the job market. I saw Microsoft say that we're going to employ this method where we are telling you to step forward, come and just resign on your own. And we're going to give you a nice severance package. These are companies that when people work there, they have job stability, they have rest of mind, they feel safe in their employment. These are now the company that are saying we are going to lay people off, or we want to lay you off, but come forward yourself, Come forward yourself and come and accept the severance package. Don't let us come for you. Just come and collect the severance package. We are living in an unprecedented time. So it is absolutely important that it doesn't matter whether you have a job or you don't have a job, you need to be on the job market today. You have to be on the job market. If you don't own that company, you need to be looking for a job because they can serve anybody breakfast. That is the type of time we're living in, unprecedented. Secondly, just looking at inflation, how things are becoming more expensive. Companies don't give you more than 3% raise every year, right? If you have done well, and then it's another anniversary, if it's a generous company, you will hear 5%. So it just goes between 3 to 5% increase in salary that you get. But when we look at how everything is increasing, it's not increasing on 3 to 5% level. It's increasing way more than that. The price of eggs didn't just jump from $3 to 3.5. It's jumped to like $7, which means you too have to be aggressive when you are looking for the money. And that is why you can't just stay with a company for 7 years and say, I like it here. Oh, it's not about liking it here. It's about profitability. It's about what else can my credentials get me? Where else can I go to where I will do the same amount of work and then I will make more money for my family? I'll do this exact work and I can make times two. Then I need to go there. We are talking about this because we have to talk about it. We have to talk about also the opportunities that are on the market. This high growth industry, you can make more money there. This high growth industry, you can pivot there with what you have and actually know there is better job security because they need people there. And there are already projections of what is going to happen. Like, okay, we're going to have increase like this or like that. It is absolutely important that you think about these things. People are switching jobs. In fact, in the US, Canada, and the UK, 48% of millennials and 52% of Gen Z have switched job at least once in the last 2 years. So this is not is it only me that is doing it? Everybody is doing it. The average tenure in a job is between 2 years to 2.6 years. People are not spending up to 3 years on any job. They are staying on that job. They are building experience for 2 years. and they're saying, thank you for having me. I'm going to go to another place where I can make more money, or I'm going to go to another industry that is booming right now and now use my credentials to earn more money or get more stability. And this is the order of the day. And this is me letting you know that if you're thinking about job hopping, that there's nothing wrong with you. This is me letting you know that if you're not thinking about job hopping, I need you to start to think about it. Because, yes, it's important that we evaluate that. It's important that we understand that, yes, job hopping has to be a thing that is on your mind. Now, I know that everybody is agitated. It's only if you're not watching the news, it's only if you're not seeing what is happening there. Now, how do I successfully job hop or transition to a new career? We have to set clear career goals. As a career coach, when you come to work with us, the first thing I do with you is skill mapping. I help you understand what skills do you have? What competencies do you have? What type of industries have you worked before? And then help you understand, all right, if you have this, then let's set this clear goal. Let's set a clear goal of what industry would you like to migrate to, or should you migrate to? What type of job should we migrate you to? Should we migrate you from you used to do operations manager role and they were paying you $65,000? Should we migrate you to project manager role so that you can get $110,000? The skills that you were using for operations manager role, you can flat out use them for project manager roles. You will upskill a little bit, but you can use them there. That experience is valid for this other career, and the salary is almost double. So we need to set clear goals. First of all, looking through what you have to be able to say, this is the career path we are targeting. If it's time to go up the ladder, we would say, even if you're crossing industry, we still want to go up the ladder a little bit. We also want to define a clear goal in terms of salary expectation. I'm trying to make an amount that is in this particular range. This is what can cater to my family. Then define after that, like, okay, how do I go ahead? The goal that I've set, how do I go ahead to ensure that I can beat that goal? You have to be able to set some things down. Okay, everything I have done before, can I document them? Let's go back and look at everything I have done before. Have I improved some processes? Have I increased performance? And this is why it's very good to have what I call a brag document. With a brag document, you are able to document. You should document every 2 weeks. What progress have you made within your company? What successes do you have? Every 2 weeks, you should have, whether it's a diary or something like this. This is where I document important things, this document. And at the back of it is where I document important goals that I have reached. I'm no longer in corporate, but I still do it till date. Why is this important? If I need to track what I have done in the last 1 year to see what progresses I have made, I just go to the back of this exercise book and then I open to the back pages, and then I will see every of those things I have documented in the last 1 year. Do you have where you document your achievements? Do you have where you document your wins? This is where I need you to go to now that you're trying to job hop. I need you to go there and start to look through some of the things that you've done, some of the impact that you have made, some of the things that you have brought to the table, to be able to now say, based on what I have done, based on the skills that I've used to do this, what transferable skills do I have for the industry that I want to go? Have I defined or have I done something that is so defined that if I take them over to this new industry, they're going to be so happy to have me come in? Now, for most people that wants to job hop, you have to realize that, yes, we want to pretty much, yeah, let me understand to a large extent what this industry need. You don't want to just look and say, this is what I have. You want to go over to look, what does this industry need? Once we know what that industry need, then we can match it. What you have versus what they need. Let's do a marriage there so that we can see, are they aligning? This is also going to help you. This gap analysis is going to help you know what they need. Do I have majority of it, or I'm lacking in some skills, or I'm lacking in some expertise, or I'm lacking in some areas, so that you can go ahead and say those areas where I'm lacking, can I upskill? Or if I know some things, but they no longer do it that way. Or maybe I have just relocated from Nigeria or Ghana or Senegal. And how we do these things there is different from how they do them in this new country. Then we can reskill. We can reskill and say, let me relearn it the way it's done here. And this is how you present yourself when you are trying to position for this new area that you're going into or new company that you're going into. I know people who are trying to job hop after spending 15 years in a company. They don't even have a resume. They have not made one in 5 years because they never needed it. But even if you are never needing a resume, can you make sure you have a brag document? Can you have a brag document where you document your performances and your results? Because when it's time for you to say, I want to create resumes, that is what we use to be able to market you. Let me tell you about your resume today. Your resume is what determines how much you're paid. Both of us, me and you, could have the same degrees. We could have the same experience. We could have worked on the same job in the same company. And then I present myself in a stronger way. I present myself in a stronger way, and they hire me as a manager, and you don't even get to see an interview. Your resume is what determines how much anybody pay you. It's not only what determines whether you get an interview. Your resume has to be able to connect with them in such a way that is showing them that you are a high value person. Oftentimes, when I look at people's resume, everybody just go online and say, I've downloaded a template of a resume. I'm just going to. We put strategy into creating a high valued resume that sells you as a high value person. There's a difference. I will see people saying, oh, they offer me 70,000. When you have a resume that have sold you like a 120K person, your job convincing them to pay you well is not too much again, because that resume is saying, you can't even dare say this person should collect 70K. They are too good. Their resume is doing the job. Your resume is your marketing tool. There is nothing humble about your resume. Nothing should ever be humble. Now, the question is, how do we structure this new resume to sell you for that company that you are going to present yourself to as you're trying to job hop, or you that you want to cross industry and make times two, like this, my client? How do we sell you in that new industry in such a way that when they see you, they're happy to pay you times two? Because somebody else may present a weak resume and then they're going to be fighting and saying, I'm negotiating. They are refusing to pay me 140K. Whereas somebody's resume already, they are offering them 200. Why? Because there's a difference between someone who decides that they can do it on their own or someone who contacts people who have strategy in terms of how to sell you so that you are high value. And I'm expecting this. I'm explaining this because resumes, they're not created equal. You could go to school, you could go to boot camps, you could get certification, and then you're still not valued properly on the job market because you're not marketing yourself well, because your resume is not doing a great job. Your heavy lifting, which is interview, should be minimal. Somebody should see your resume and be excited already about interviewing you. The icing on the cake is that you now show up and kill it and be able to confirm to them that what you saw on my resume, I am who I said I am. I am who I said I am. I said I am this, right? You have seen it in my resume that I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Now I show up in that resume to do what? To confirm that I am who I say I am. You know, like I see that quote on social media a lot, right? So maybe somebody that you respect a lot, they just achieve something. So you will say, I am who I say I am. Your resume should prepare people like that. It should make you an achiever. It should make you someone that when they look at that resume, they're like, this person is going to add value, I'm sure. Then you come in that interview and confirm that you are who you say you are. And then after that, then you expect the offer to be good. You are if your resume and your interview have done the heavy lifting. When it comes to pay negotiation, it's easier. I had a client who relocated to the US. This one, we just got the job last month. Relocated to the US from Nigeria. And he just got a job in the same company. He interviewed for 2 roles. He submitted his resume for 2 roles. I prepared him for the interview myself. And we prepared him for the lower role. He sent his application for the 2 roles. Then they called him for an interview. For the lower role, I prepared him for the lower role. When they will send us the job offer, they gave him the higher role. The higher role. Why did they give him the higher role? We did 3 series of interview. In the first interview, they said, we know you. We have seen your resume in 2 places, and in both cases, you were fantastic. So we decided to interview you for this lower role to actually get to know you. By the time he killed that interview and showed them that he was who he said he was, they called a follow-up interview with him to talk to the senior vice president. He went and proved to that senior vice president that he was more than who he said he was. So the senior vice president said, give him the leadership role, give him that higher role of 145K. That's the one you should give him. And this company has pay transparency. The role they interviewed him for, the previous one was 107, is how much they said they wanted to pay. And this higher role is 145. When they gave us an offer of 145, Dr. Adi must negotiate, because the rule is never accept the first offer. You can never accept the first offer under my watch, even if that's what they wrote on their website. There is more money. We went and fought for this. Last, we shall have got over 150K. This is his first job in America. He has just relocated from Nigeria. He has 0 experience in America. He didn't go to school in America. He moved to America as a green card holder. And I'm explaining this because how you sell yourself determines how somebody price your market. Let's use Nigerian ready-to-wear industry as an example. You are on the island. You have rented this fine shop on the island. You decorated this fine shop. You created social media awareness. You hired models. The models wore your clothes. You rented a videographer and a cameraman. They shot these very great ads for you. You are now posting those videos with all these beautiful models. These clothes, somebody on the on the mainland can make that exact clothes. They didn't hire any model. They decided that they're going to be their own model. They took their phone and started using their phone to do picture, and then posted their home. It's the same outfit. There is somebody that lives in Ogbomoso who also made the same outfit. This person used another phone and just took picture of the clothes on an hanger. Nobody wore it. It's just on an hanger. Took a picture of this same clothes and posted it. You that you are on the island, you hired models, beautiful models. You hired photographer and videographers. You have a social media manager. They are putting this well-curated story out. You are selling your clothes for how much? 399,000 naira. The same clothes, the person on the mainland is selling it for 120,000 naira. Now, the person in Ogbomoso who just put their own same clothes on an hanger and took picture, nobody is wearing it. They said it's 40,000 naira. It's the same clothes. 3 scenarios. Somebody decided that I'm going to market my product in such a way that it is world class. Anybody that see it, they will pay me my worth. But the same clothes, somebody else on the mainland didn't hire models, didn't hire videographer, just took their phone, wore the clothes by themselves. They have not done BBL. So the clothes just look somehow on their body. They too, they posted and say it's 120. Somebody on the mainland is still pricing it and say 120 is too much now. But the one on the island, once they show this thing like this, big girls are the ones contacting them and paying that 400,000 naira without question. Why? It's marketing. It's not about the quality of the product. It's about the marketing tactics. Because the three products are the same quality, but somebody decided that I'm going to market what I have in such a way that I will present it as something that is highly valuable. And I'm explaining this to you because this is what happens when you put your resume forward, when you have an understanding of how to position in an interview. When you have those tools, you can command better salary. Rather than the person that said, I can't pay anybody. Is it not to just do resume? Is it not to just go and do, I will pray and all that's all. Then you will get the result for that. You will get a job and then they will offer you 65. Then the person that got a career coach will get a job and then they offer them 140. And then you'll be complaining and say, they met us here. We have been in this country. We went to school here. Why are they offering us low money? It's about marketing. So the question I want to ask you today is that, do you think you are doing the best job possible in how you are marketing yourself? Are you doing the best job possible? I'm not talking about a good job. I'm talking about, do you think you're doing the best job possible on how you're marketing yourself? Are you maximizing the potential of what you have? Because what you don't market properly can never get the value that it deserves. And this has nothing to do with the product. It has to do with marketing. We have seen sometimes many people who, that it's not like they have more substance, but the way they have packaged, the packaging is out of this world. The way they have packaged, you will look and say, haven't you seen some people transform? Maybe you used to know them. They don't wear makeup. They don't do anything. All of a sudden, somebody just put makeup on them and put some beautiful clothes. Is that them? Let's even do example of Dr. Adi on my birthday. I just did my birthday April 3rd. Go and look for those pictures. Can you compare it to this Dr. Adi that you are watching in a video? That Dr. Adi that was in that photo shoot. Even me saw myself. I say, is this me? What is that called? Packaging. The Dr. Hadi that was in those pictures. In fact, there was one picture that I was wearing Nigerian Iro and Buba wine color, and I did my hand like this. I sent it to my father. My father said that this is how politicians win election. He said, this is how my daughter looks like a politician that is running for Senate. She said, this is how politicians said they have changed my daughter. Is this my daughter or a senator? Where you package something well, it increases the value. And I'm telling you, to cross from one industry to another is not a problem. We need to package you in the best possible way so that you don't try to transition to another industry and you can't even make that money. You are struggling. You are saying that they just don't like immigrants here. Are you packaging well? Are you marketing yourself well? Because if you're not marketing yourself well, they will never pay you your worth. If you're just downloading those resumes online, or you are really just saying, I'm not going to get this help, I think I can do it myself, you are shortchanging yourself. You are leaving money on the table. You are not getting the best value for your credentials. That's what's happening. So how did we get here? Let's backpedal a little bit. We got here by talking about steps to job hopping successfully. I started with defining clear career goals. Then we talked about let's get to look at all your successes, your performance, your results in this current level. What have you done? Then we talked about let's do a gap analysis. What does that industry you're trying to go to or that new job you're trying to go to, what do they need? And then let's compare it to what you have. Is there any gap? Do you have some advantage? Where you're coming from, you've done some things that we can transfer over, transferable skills. And if there are gaps, can we make sure that we're not packaging emptiness? That you actually go and fill those gaps. If in that new industry, they need some certifications. If in that new industry, they need you to bring some skill sets. If in that new industry, there are some processes that they need you to know. You can make sure you learn that process on that job you're on so that we are not packaging emptiness. And then once we know that we now have the raw materials, we can use some of your transferable experience. You have gotten all the different things that are left, the gaps. Then we now know this is what this industry needs. Then we now want to package everything. We will package you so that that new industry sees you as the best person for the job. It's not the right person, the best person for the job. You can be a right person among other right people. There can be 50 people that are right for the job. That's not how you want to be. You want to be the best person for the job. Because when you are the best person for the job, your resume sells you as the best person for the job. In an interview, you kill it as the best person for the job. Then they want to pay you your high valued money. Then we are not going to be over fighting during that pay negotiation because they will start you off at a good rate because they saw what you have brought to the table. And this is where understanding how to market yourself, it comes in. Now, I understand that job hopping is never easy for the company you're leaving. It doesn't mean leaving a trail of dissatisfaction behind. You have to build strong relationships with your supervisors, with your colleagues. Let me tell you, it's business as usual. Don't feel bad about job hopping. And don't leave a taste of dissatisfaction. Don't say, I'm going to leave in the job next month. I can do anyhow. I don't have to go to meetings again. No. Be on your best behavior. Produce the best output because people always remember the last elephant that left the room. Perform the best and do your finest job as you are exiting because you may need references in the future. You may not even need references. Yoruba, I'm Nigerian, so Yoruba will say, Omilenyo, mobitati makpade. We don't even know where we will meet again. It may not even be that I need references. It may be that I moved to a new company and they hired your previous boss to come and lead the department you are in. And then they will give you hell on that new job because you were not good to them in that last place. But if you were good to them, you will be the biggest ally because they knew how much of a performer you are. Because there was no argument when you were leaving that role, you bowed out in a graceful way. So when they meet you again, maybe it's a new job that they just got, oh my God, you work here? Yes, you'll be the biggest ally. Or you met at a conference, at a networking event, or you're applying for something, you need them to write reference letters for you. Let me tell you, the last job I did in corporate that I left, when I left that job, the people that I worked with on that job, every time they see a contract that I can do, they would reach out to me, hey, Adi, I know you're not in corporate anymore. You don't want to work in corporate. I understand, but you know you're an expert in this. There is this job. I thought you could do it for 3 weeks, Adi. It's going to give you good money. And I feel like we miss you. Can you please? They would come and ask me if I want to do a consulting gig. They would recommend me for different people. For CEO, one CEO would just call me or contact me and say, hey, Adi, I got your number from so person. I was looking for someone who could do this. They said, you are the one. They also want me, though, that you may not want to do this, right? But I want to beg, could you please, for the sake of old times, because this person hold you in high regard. And they said, you're the right person for that. Leave every job as much as possible. without really breaking up those relationships. Now, sometimes those relationships will break, maybe because now that you want to leave, they're so mean to you. Things just really are bad. You have no regrets. It's business. When a company want to fire you, they're not fighting with you. They're making business decisions. You are a company of one. You are your own company. You're a company of one. So when you make a decision to leave a company, it should be logical. It shouldn't be emotional. It should be based on what brings you value, what is good for you, what is good for your career, what is good for your pocket, what is good for your family, what is good for your mental health. That should drive the decision you're making. And there should be zero emotion about that. Now, if you're trying to cross over to another industry, you can always use your network. I know that job hopping means expanding your professional network quickly. You can leverage industry events. You're moving on to another career. You're moving from being a mechanical engineer. You want to really work in data science. Use LinkedIn. Look for industry events happening in data science. You want to attend those events. Look for professional groups on data science. You want to join those places. Not only join those places, you want to start to make strategic impact. I had on our CAP program, we have a community called the Global and Thriving Community. I meet with them at least once a month or twice a month. Last month, we dealt with how to leverage LinkedIn for visibility and to get job offers. And I would tell you that after we did 2 sessions on that, after those 2 sessions, I started asking people how they're doing. You need to hear the feedback. How these people, the strategies that I gave them, they have gone, oh, recruiters are contacting me. Dr. Ali, this is crazy. Yeah, because you can use networking to do the job for you. You can use LinkedIn communities. You can go to network to these various events. Let me share a story with you. The last job that I did in corporate, before exiting corporate, how did I get that job? I was working for another company and I go to these industry conferences. So I had gone to this industry conference and I went into this showcase. A company was showcasing their new equipment. I was in that room. They've done their show, told us about this new equipment, and then people were asking questions. I raised up my hands and then I asked a question. I was standing in the back with my Nigerian accent that I am proud to have. I asked my very critical question, and everybody looked back. So I thought they were looking back because of my accent. My industry is predominantly white. So everybody looked back. Once I was asking the question, everybody was just turning, like I was in the back, like, who is that? The question I asked, what I was looking for answers for. The company who just launched this wonderful machine, they haven't put it in the machine. So they acknowledge and say, this is a very smart question. However, this part of our machine is still in development. We are hoping that we would release it and let you know once it's released. By the time I wanted to ask another question, I raised some people have asked a series of questions, and I have another question. I just took my time almost at the end. So I raised up my hand again. These people didn't give me the mic. They didn't give me the mic. Then one of the people now raised up his hand. They gave him the mic. He ran towards me and said, the mic is not for me, it's for the lady. She probably have another very intelligent question. Everybody laughed. I asked another question. By the time that presentation was over, and I stepped out from that conference hall, I have over 30 people who wanted to talk to me. Everybody, like, they were literally like, who are you? I had just relocated to the US from Canada. In my industry in Canada, people knew me, but I had moved to a bigger country and I'm a new person in their industry. But that has been my industry. I did a PhD on this thing. I have publications. People were waiting for me outside. Hey, what do you work for? Hey, hello, what's your name? Those questions were fire. I gained over 75 new additions on LinkedIn in 48 hours through the two questions I asked in that conference. When it was time for happy hour in the evening, people were looking for me at the happy hour. They wanted to come hang out with me. Tell us more about yourself. We haven't seen you before. Oh, I'm Canadian. Oh, that's why you're Canadian. You Canadians are smart people. Oh my God, those questions were fire. So people wanted to question me more. They wanted to also know, like, what company I work for. Maybe they can sell me products. And I tell you, since that conference, every other conference that I went to, somebody is putting me on a panel. I became a known subject matter expert because I went to a conference. My profile got elevated. I got introduced to that industry on the US side because I went to a conference. And then every other conference, they would reach out to me, Adi, I'm hosting a panel at this conference. I'd like you on the panel. If I say that, oh, I have to ask my company if they will let me come, they'll say, should we write to your company directly and ask them that Adi needs to be at this conference? And they would pay. We would be happy to pay the flights, to pay the hotel. We just need you at this panel. Come and share your thoughts on this. I became a thought leader. I didn't have to struggle just strategically going to one conference. And this is why it's critical. If you're trying to change industry, you're trying to change to another career, you're trying to really look for another job, you shouldn't just be sending your resumes to jobs. You need to use network. You need to use social media platforms. You need to attend these conferences. And when you go there, don't just, no, you are there to be noticed. Let me tell you, we are living in a time where you have to be able to say what you know. This is how people respect you. This is how people think you're a thought leader. Now, let me tell you what happened many months after. After that conference, yes, I just told you that the conference brought more speaking engagements to me. It gave me visibility. It made me an instant subject matter expert in my field here in the US. What it also did is that my next job, the person that came to give me the mic, that she probably have an intelligent question, that person made sure that they hired me in his company, made sure of it. He made sure that we need her, we need that lady, whatever it takes, bring her here. Guess what? I got 75% increase in salary and a director role. And this is why when you're looking to cross to a new industry, when you're looking to job hop because you need more money, it's not only by your resume. You got to go out there. You got to share what you know. There are LinkedIn communities. You got to join those communities and don't just sit down there as a log of wood. You got to be talking. Because collect your money. Please wake up. You heard that? Collect your money. Please wake up. We have to strategically collect our money. And I'm teaching these strategies because I'm tired of immigrants saying that some things are racism. Some things are not racism. They are strategic. Some things are not, there's nothing wrong with your Nigerian degree. There's nothing wrong with your certification. But there is everything wrong with how you're going about getting this new job. There's everything wrong with how you're trying to make more money because you're not presenting yourself like someone who needs to. By the time I went to this conference, I've asked 2 brilliant questions that caused everybody to say, who is that? Do you want to hire that person and not pay them well? That caused somebody to say, whatever it takes, hire her. Then I named my price. Then I said, I want a fully remote role. Me that I was always going to the shop floor. I say it's a fully remote role. I want a director role. And then I want a 75% increase in salary. They shook my hands and said, welcome to the team. I took it. It's not an emotional decision. It's a logical decision. The job I had before, I loved it a lot. I was contributing drastically. I had won 2 national awards because of the work I had done on that job. But I went to a place where opportunity can find me. And then I presented myself as the best thing in sliced bread by asking 2 strategic questions. Then I immediately became the best thing in sliced bread and increased my own market worth. And then when the market what? Now turned to a job offer, turned to speaking engagements. I started going to these conferences. When I speak at conferences, people on the other panelists will say, like Adi said, yeah, being a subject matter expert, you shouldn't ever sit down and never talk about the things you know. I have a PhD in 3D printing. I have publications. I've been cited hundreds of times. So I know stuff. So when I sit on a panel to talk about innovation, to talk about digital transformation, to talk about digital manufacturing, to talk about 3D printing, to talk about robotics, to talk about material science, experts has come. Then why are you hiding? Even the Bible said that you don't light a candle and put it under a table. You need to put it on a candlestick so that it can brighten the room. You cannot brighten the room if you're refusing to network, or you are in a network that can change your life and you're refusing to talk. I'm never scared of my accent because nobody cares about my accent except me. I know my stuff. People want to hear what you have to say. And they'll never know that you are a subject matter expert except you prove it. And if you don't go to those events, if you don't join the group and make some important contribution, if you don't go to those conferences, how then can you increase your own market worth? If you refuse to say, let somebody help me with this job search, how then can you get the salaries that you are seeing and saying, they just don't pay immigrants this money. It's not us. They pay immigrants those money, the ones that are strategic. How many directors, vice presidents come out of the immigrant community, the Black community? Very little. Why? Because what it takes to get a job as a manager is different from what it takes to get a job as a director or a VP. And we are prioritizing what it takes to get a job as a manager, which is get the skills, get the experience, get the certification, get all of that, which is great for whatever level you are on. But you can increase your value and your market worth by doing some of these things. All right, back to this. I know that job hopping may look somehow, but I want to tell you that it is not a red flag. This 2025 LinkedIn's Global Talent Trend said that 55% of employers globally stated that they no longer view job hopping as a negative if a candidate can demonstrate growth, adaptability, and skill development with each move. If you can show that I moved from this company to this company, but I have made this type of impact, they don't care that you moved. So it is you who is projecting that and thinking it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's important to even have that job mobility today. Now, let's talk to people who are in Africa. One thing that is current today is remote work. I have supported people from Nigeria who had gotten a job in Europe, in the Netherlands, in Germany, fully remote, paying them in US dollars, paying them in euros, in the upwards of 70,000 euros, upwards. That they're working remotely from Nigeria, from Ghana. If you are living in Africa, we are living in a time where there are tech roles, marketing roles that can employ you anywhere and pay you way more money than you're making in your local currency. We also have to understand that employers need skills and job seekers need opportunities. So we have to invest in certifications and in serious skill development. The job that you are doing in Nigeria, let's say you are working for a bank as an operation manager. I can assure you that you are using maybe 20% of the technical skills that they are using in the West, like Canada, US, UK, Australia, Europe. So you have to understand what these countries need for that same role so that you can develop those skills. You can get those certifications that are in line with the need of your industry in that new location. You have to be ready to say, I'm going to fill that gap. I'm going to do this skill development. First, where are my target countries? What type of job do I want to get? And then can I know what that industry needs in that country today? Then I will go get them. Then once I get them, what are the resume formats and strategies that gets their own HR excited, their own recruiters excited? Let me present myself like a local candidate in their country so that when they see my resume, it's even better than their local candidates. They're like, wow, I don't mind doing this remote. Well, they're far away, but they're top talent. They're so good. How did I come to the US? A US Fortune 500 company brought me here to work. Before you can get a TN visa, the company has to prove that they could not find anybody that can do your job in the country. If a Fortune 500 company is putting and saying, hey, we need this company person to move here because we couldn't find anyone to do this job, they have to prove it. So if you're in Africa, you are looking for that job in US dollars. Can a company prove that they couldn't find somebody like you? You are not trying to even fit in. You are trying to outshine the people of that country. That's what you're trying to do. And if you don't know the softwares they use, you don't know the skills they use, you don't have the certifications they use, how then can they go and tell the government that they want to bring you from Africa? Me and you know that when it comes to development, Africa is way behind. So if you want to get these international jobs, we have to understand that there will be gaps. There will be gaps. So we need to help you find out what is the gap. What country are you going? Or what country are you targeting? And what are the gaps? Let's help you understand what that gap is. And don't lie to yourself. Go fill that gap. Invest time, invest money, invest everything to fill that gap. Get whatever certification we say you need, whatever skills, sit down there and learn it. Because if you don't fill that gap, they're not going to hire a mediocre from Africa and pay you in euros or US dollars. They will not. Or bring a mediocre. They won't be able to prove to the government that they couldn't find someone like you if you are actually nothing. We cannot package emptiness. We are trying to package you as the best thing since sliced bread, but you have to come correct. Let's understand what's the gap. This is the career. It has growth. That industry is booming. They need people. No problem. This is your career. We can switch to this one there. Go and get these things. Don't deceive yourself. Get it so that when we want to package you, you will look like you're out of this world. At this time, visa sponsorship jobs, how easy are they today compared to 2 years ago? I would tell you for free that visa sponsorship jobs is harder everywhere today than it was a year ago. In the US, we have a new government that is saying immigration is top of the line for them. In Canada, we're about to go through an election. Whoever wins will set their immigration policy. And I'm sure it's going to be tighter. Yeah. Why? Because we don't have enough infrastructure to support the people that are in the country. In the UK, the opposition party is every day pointing finger as the sitting party and the ruling parties that you have to do more on immigration. We have seen them tighten up their laws. Migration policy is shifting everywhere and is only becoming tighter. So if you must seek visa sponsorship job, the question I want to ask you first is that, can you get a remote job so that you are not moving? If that is a possibility, let's focus on that. Because visa sponsorship, they have to prove to the government that you're the best thing. Since sliced bread, they couldn't find someone like you. If they're hiring you offshore, it may be easier for them. So let's look. So don't just focus on visa sponsorship job. Let's focus on remote job. And when you're looking at visa sponsorship job, Africans in Africa, don't just look at the US and Canada. They are not the only countries in the world. Look at Europe. I worked with a client a few years ago. She was in Nigeria and looking for a job, visa sponsorship job. She got a job with the African Union in Addis Ababa that started paying her in US dollars. I worked with another client last year from Abuja. She got a job in Rwanda that was paying her in serious US dollars. In Africa, she didn't have to move abroad. Within Africa, there are opportunities for mobility. I have another client who was working in Nigerian oil and gas industry, who got a job in Angola. From Nigeria to Angola, being paid in US dollars. I have another person, oil and gas in Nigeria, got a job in DRC, within Africa. There are opportunities within Africa too. And they will treat you as an expatriate. And you'll be paid in USD. So sometimes what you're looking for is not to just japa to the West. It could be wonderful opportunities in Africa for you. It could be a remote role that is not taking you out of your country, but they're paying you in euros or US dollars. I have another client, got a job in Qatar from Nigeria. I have another one, got a job, oil and gas, in Dubai. And these are scenarios that have happened to my clients over the years. So I know that sometimes you that you're in back home, you are fixated on, I want visa sponsorship job in the US. I want visa sponsorship job in Canada. You are sitting on a gold mine. There are visa sponsorship in other places too. It's not only in the US and Canada. There is visa sponsorship job in the UK. There is visa sponsorship job, several of them that we have supported people to get in Germany, in Netherlands. Remote role from Europe that people are doing. They're in Nigeria. I have another person that got a job with a company in New York. She's in Lagos, making $6,000 every month from her apartment in Lekki. So let's make sure that as you're looking for these roles, you are making sure that your strategy is multidimensional, that you're not just fixated on one thing, so that if that one thing don't happen, you get more options. One thing for sure is that we are living in an unprecedented time, and that this is not a time to fold your hands and do nothing. That we are in a time where it's important for you to take strategic steps to ensure that you are protecting yourself, to ensure that you're thinking about how do I make more money, to also be able to think about the new opportunities and industries that are growing, and say, how can I be part of industries that are growing so that I can have better job security? That you're not just limiting yourself and saying, I'm in oil and gas, that you're thinking about the grain industry that is booming, that you are thinking about, oh, I want to move to tech, that you're thinking about opportunities in agriculture. Ag tech is a thing. Your background is agriculture, you have done botany, you have done agricultural science, you have done horticulture. There's something called ag tech, and it's booming very well. These are places that you can cross to. My hope is that with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you that for 2025, when it comes to strategies about how to keep our money safe, nobody is safe from being fired. So be on the job market. I also want to tell you that if you feel like you're safe, inflation is eating all of our money. So we need to diversify. First, you need to make sure that you're looking for opportunities that will pay you more. Whether you're thinking of freelancing, whether instead of having a full-time permanent role, you're thinking about contract roles that pays more, you are thinking about opportunities that you can use to diversify or make more income. And I hope that to every immigrant who have thought, oh, they're not paying us well, that you understand that marketing is what differentiates the person that they pay well and the person that they don't pay well. That you invest in what will allow you be marketed properly. That you talk to a career coach. That you book to come to our upcoming boot camp. A boot camp that has absolutely been a game changer for hundreds, I mean thousands of people who are looking to advance their career. It's a 2-day boot camp. Go and look on our pages. You will see people using their own mouths to talk about their own testimony, what they learned from the boot camp, how transformational that is for them. Bet on $200. Come to that boot camp. If you don't get the worth of that $200, ask for a refund. If you come to the Career Revival Bootcamp, after the 2 days, you feel like this is not worth my $200, come back and ask for a refund and cite this video that Dr. Adi said, if I don't get value, they'll give me $200 back because I will. Because I know that I am who I said I am. My hope is that every immigrant don't leave our country to come to a new location only to be underpriced, undermarketed, underutilized, and underpaid. That every immigrant comes to their new location and truly thrive instead of surviving, and truly use what the government of that country saw in you that made them give you PR. They saw something in you. They saw your skills. They saw your expertise. They think it can be useful for their country. That you don't come here with all of that they saw and refuse to be marketed well for you to be profitable as a person. The country has invested in you. They have given you that PR. It is now up to you to invest in yourself so that you can maximize your potential based on what the country thought you could do. They didn't just bring you to Canada with PR because they don't think you can succeed here. They know that what you have, if it's marketed properly, you will kill it here. They know that what you have, that made them approve that EB1, EB2, and IW, that if you come here, you will kill it here. The people that gave you F1 visa, they know that if you go to school here and get that degree here, this type of degree, you will kill it here. But what differentiates you from the person killing it is how you have marketed yourself. If you have not marketed yourself properly, remember that example. The person selling the same thing in Lekki and calling it 400,000 naira and is selling. The same person, another person is selling the same thing on the mainland, a beggar, and is 120,000 naira, and people are questioning them because they have not marketed it like something that is worth 400,000 naira. For that reason, even at 120, people are questioning them. That same product, somebody in Ogbomoso is selling it for 40,000 naira without marketing, by hanging that cloth on an hanger and just taking a picture. Nobody is even asking them what they are selling. And that person that is on the highland, who has hired models, they wore the clothes, took a photographer and a videographer, took amazing content, hire a social media manager, and they are pumping out those videos and putting captions and designing it. They are selling it, and they are selling it for way higher for 400K. We have to market you in such a way that every employer wants you, number one. Two, they pay you your market worth. And if you refuse to be marketed like somebody who has worth, you will do another MBA. You will get 3 more certifications. You will still cannot make that 200K. You will still cannot make that 100K. You will still cannot make that 60,000 pounds. Why? Because your marketing is inadequate and incorrect and is frustrating you. Yes, an average Nigerian will get another certification and say they need an MBA, they need a PhD, and still they cannot make that 150K. Why? The marketing is inadequate. The marketing is too low. You are not properly marketed. You have downloaded that resume on Indeed. You have downloaded it on LinkedIn, and it's telling whoever is reading it that you are worth 60,000 naira, that you are worth $60,000. And that is why when you present it, they want to pay you $60,000. You will say that is what they are doing to immigrants. They don't want to pay immigrants. The people that we are sharing their stories, that we are sharing those job offers, that are getting 120, 140, do they have two heads? Are they not immigrants? The person that just came from Niger, that just got a 150,000 plus job, are they not immigrants? Did they go to school here? It's marketing that differentiates you and them. They got support. It's penny wise, pound foolish to refuse to pay a career coach, to refuse to go to get help, and then say that you're not getting any interviews. And then you are spending hours upon hours applying to those jobs. Those hours, go and use it to work. Get the money, come and pay for career coaching. Go and use it to work and pay for career coaching so that you can get out of that rabbit hole. Because it's important for us to know these are the problems. People not wanting to get help. People discounting it and saying, I can do it by myself. And then in the end, they get to be paid lower than what they're worth. They come with these degrees, they do another master's, they do all of that and still don't make that money. Come into our DM. Come and tell us your situation. Let's help you to be able to further, first of all, understand what is required and help you better market everything that you have brought. I hope that if you're one of those people who have spent 7 years in a company, that this presentation have shook you enough to say it's time to leave. If you're one of those people who have solid career in mechanical engineering, who have solid career in petroleum engineering, I know that you probably are thinking about it, but it's time to go to this new career path that can pay you more money. Remember the story of the lady that crossed from farmer to tech, a new mother that just doubled her salary. She did not change career. She's still staying on her career, but she has doubled her salary by moving to another industry. Let's help you find the strategy that will put money in your pocket this year. Strategy that will pay you more than what you were making. Strategy that will take you from, I'm complaining about money every time. I'm complaining about this country. This country is not just good for me. Let's put a strategy that will make this country work for you. And if this country cannot work for you, there are other countries. Thank you for being here. I'll be in the DM myself for the next 45 minutes. You want to talk to me directly, you want me to help you clarify something, come there. I want to go to this boot camp. If you go to our DM, they would give you 15% discount because you are on this IG Live. Go and get a 15% discount. For the next 24 hours, I will tell them, anybody that is buying the boot camp ticket who came because they watched this IG Live will get that 15% discount. I want to see you there. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Come ask me your questions in the DM. I'll be right there. Take care, everybody. Bye now.